Hey, good evening, everybody. We really appreciate your participating in this segment of Ask the Lawyer. And this evening, we're going to be focused on permanent residency. And the most important players in this segment today will be you, the folks asking us questions of this fine legal team here. Before we begin, if we want to go to the next slide, that would be great. We're going to give you a brief overview of PR, the qualifications, timeline, a process path that may answer some of the basic questions you might have, but also will help to set the stage. Again, the focus tonight is on your questions. This is your opportunity to ask our brilliant Thai legal staff. And finally, we're going to provide you with a link to some free flashcards. So if you want to do a deeper dive into the all-important Thai language interview, that will give you a great idea and also help you practice for that interview should you decide to apply for permanent residency this year. So without further ado, let's go to the next slide. Thank you, Champ. So I'm Mark Friedman. I'm the Managing Director of Bond Thai. I'm an American lawyer and a member of the California Bar since 1987. And I've had the privilege to work with some of the best Thai legal talent in the city, including the folks off to my left here. So, Roy?
Okay, thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Roy. I am managing counsel here at Ban Thai, and I'm also leading the Thai legal team here. I've been working with expat and also company for the past 10 years to help them establish their business and also their life here in Thailand. And I also have a good opportunity to working with my new associate here.
All right, I am Mint. I'm a Thai licensed attorney focusing on helping an expat moving to Thailand with a long-term visa options. Also been working with Immigration Office and Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand.
Great, thank you both. Let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to turn this over in just a minute when it comes to qualifications and the process timeline, but I just wanted to acknowledge that it's been a little bit of an unusual period for those of you who may be waiting to apply for PR. As you're probably aware, the application window never opened in 2024. That happens. New government got seated. By the time they installed a new Minister of the Interior, the opportunity to coordinate with immigration and open the window just ran out. The good news is that you're going to get 2 bites at the apple in 2025. The application is now open for those people who were prepared to present applications, and we have a client going in a couple days here. So it'll be open until mid-May of this year. But the better news is for those of you who are seriously contemplating PR, but understand that it's going to take some time to pull together your documents, including overseas certifications and so on, we have a strong confidence that the window will open in October or November of this year, as it typically does. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to turn this over to Roy, who can talk through some of the qualifications.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so for the permanent residency in Thailand, the popular route should be an employment route, also family route. So let's go for the qualification of an employment. All right, so if you would like to apply for this category, you will need to hold a non-B and work permit for 3 consecutive years with a minimum salary of at least 80,000 Thai baht to 100,000 Thai baht for the past 2 years. Also, you will need to work with the same employers for at least 1 year. And for another qualification would be you will need to communicate in a Thai language in conversational level.
Thank you, Min. And before we move on to the next slide, I just want to point out that I view this as a very generous opportunity that Thailand offers folks that work here for at least 3 years. In most jurisdictions around the world, the more typical path to permanent residency is marriage or having other dependents. This merely says you have to come to Thailand, be sponsored by a Thai company, earn a pretty decent salary and pay tax on that. But after only 3 years of providing an economic contribution to the kingdom, you can truly immigrate to Thailand and become a permanent resident. And again, that's kind of unusual in the world today. For example, to immigrate to other jurisdictions in the Caribbean or in the EU, you have to make a very, very substantial investment of time and money. And this just requires you're making an economic contribution to the kingdom. So thank you. So let's go to the next slide. Thank you.
Yes, all right. So for the qualification of a family or marriage route, the applicant needs to marry to a Thai citizen for the period of time of at least 5 years if without children, or at least 2 years if you have a child. Also, the applicants need to hold a non-B or non-O visa with a work permit for 30 consecutive years with a minimum salary of at least 30,000 Thai baht. Holding non-O solely wouldn't be qualified to apply for the permanent residency, as the immigration office would like to prove that you can stay in the country for a long time by working with Thai company, also holding, like, generating some incomes within Thailand. And for sure, the applicant needs to be able to perform a Thai language in conversationally level.
And I would say that's basic conversational
Yes.
level, something above what I would call taxi or restaurant Thai, but certainly not fluent like you all are in Thai language and in lawyering skills.
Right.
Would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, somebody mentioned there was some echo. I don't know, Scott or somebody else, if you're hearing the echo, but let us know. That came from Bernard. And hopefully we're not having any technical difficulties at this point. But do let us know in the comments. Okay, Roy, let's go to the next slide, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to spend a little bit of time here, so talking about the PR process. So bear with me for a minute. So to make it simpler for you, we can divide the step into three straight across 3 years. The first year, you can expect to spend your time preparing the application and make sure that you submitting the application to the immigration in time. The second year, it will be a year that you will be audited by the government official, and you will probably get an idea whether you can get it or not for this year. And for the third year is for finalize everything and prepare yourself to become a permanent resident here in Thailand. So for the process, it can take up to 18 months to 24 months, depending on situation on each year. So let's break it down for a little bit. So usually you should start the process by do the due diligence. For this step, you can do it by yourself by reviewing your qualification on your own, or you discuss with the immigration officer, or you assign someone just like to help you do it, to make sure that you are truly eligible to apply for this window. Another step, after you think that you are good to go, so the next step will be preparing the application. For the people who are not familiar with the PR process, I would like you to know that there will be a long list of documents that you need to obtain, either your personal document, or your employer document, and some document need to be notarized overseas and prepare the translation and get to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to do the notarization again. So it will be a lot. So it is also a good idea to do it early, or find someone to help you manage all of this. And after this, you need to make sure that you submit the application just in time. Usually, the window will start around October to December each year. So that will be the end of the first year process that you need to do.
And if I could just add one thing, the earlier you get started in the year and the more you can pull together and socialize that through either yourself or somebody like Roy or Mint with the immigration office, the better it is. As you get closer to the closing of the window, those officers tend to get swamped with all kinds of information and applications, and they're under a lot of pressure. And it's usually better to present yourself when they're more relaxed. And so the sooner you can start the process, for example, if the application window is going to open in October of 2025, starting late spring, early summer would not be too soon this year.
Okay, thank you, Mark. On to the second year. So if you apply under the family category, after you submit the application around 6 months, 3 to 6 months, you will get invitation from a notification from the immigration to audit your place. So if you're married to a Thai or have Thai children, this time the immigration will audit your relationship to confirm that is actually legit. But for the business category, they probably won't check your office, but sometimes they do. So that might happen. And after this, 6 to 8 months following it, you should get the notification to attend the interview. This time you need to show your Thai language skill and need to interact with the official immigration committee. The committee usually consists of various officials from many government agency in Thailand. So it might sound intimidating, but I think if you go in with the open mind and try to interact with them nicely with good manner, and try to use your Thai language as much as possible, and I think you should be fine. And after this, I think you probably after you just get out of the room from this committee, you probably get an idea whether you can get your PR approval or not. So I think after this, it's just a matter of time until you get the PR approval, and it will be end the process for the second year. Okay, on to the next one is third year. So the last step here is to waiting for your approval. The waiting time can take, I think, 6 months, 8 months to 12 months to get your approval. But don't be discouraged. You will get it eventually. So at the end of the process, you will get the thing called PR certificate from the immigration. But there is a couple things that you need to do. In fact, 3 things. The first one is you need to obtain the alien certificate from the Royal Thai Police. The second one is you need to register in the house registration blue book. And the last thing is to make sure that you obtain the re-entry permit. Because somehow, even though you have the Thai Permanent Residency, you still have to have the re-entry permit in order to fly in and fly out of Thailand.
Yeah. And just to give you a sense, all of our applicants that applied in December of 2022, Roy got a call from the captain in December of 2024 saying we're ready to go. And we rushed in and all of them successfully got their PR certifications. But that was about a 24-month period. And just to calibrate that a little bit, it's taking about 24 to 28 months to receive permanent residency in the United States if, for example, you file for a spousal visa. So the timeline, while we appreciate it takes a while and you're anxious to get to the finish line, isn't really any different than people are experiencing in the US now. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So that's kind of our heads up here. We'll close that. I do want to remind people, if you really are interested in, concerned about, or would like to prepare for the interview that Roy just mentioned, you can go onto our website. We do offer downloadable PR flashcards or also printable, because I'm kind of old school and like to have the paper in my hand. And that will give you a good idea about the questions they'll ask about your family, Thailand, your business, and so on. We think it's a very good representation of what you might be asked. So feel free to download those at your convenience. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for participating again. We have a number of questions, and I'm going to kind of tee these up for the team. I think we're a little bit frozen at the moment. There we go. Maybe people can still hear us here. So, Copter, are we? Okay. I don't know whether we're frozen or we can hear you. Okay. Great. So you can hear us. The picture seems to be frozen for the moment, but let's dive into the questions and maybe we'll get this sorted out. So we went over the minimum requirements, I think, Chris. So we're going to skip over that. And by the way, somebody asked if they were a little bit late to the party here. Can we go back to see the slides? This will appear on our YouTube channel. And so anybody that missed any of the slides can go back and can grab those. Okay, so let's go on to Richard's question. Is it possible to convert a Thai spouse visa to a permanent resident visa? What? Nope, you've scrolled up too much. Richard, there we go. Okay. If the expat is already of retirement age.
Oh, this one is tricky. Usually, if you retire in Thailand and you don't work in Thailand,
We got our feedback, so good job there, Copter. This is, by the way, full disclosure, our first live feed, so we're learning as we go along here. Okay, Catherine asks a very good question. Thank you, Catherine. Is there a guarantee to get PR once you apply?
The answer is no real guarantee, but I can speak in from my experience. So when you apply for the PR, you need to supply the application with long list of documents. So they will audit you based on this document that you provide to them. If this document is really legit and can show that you qualify, I think you're 99% pretty sure that you probably get it. But but somehow the immigration might ask for additional document, and if you cannot provide that, this can cause your application to be rejected as well.
I think that's a great answer. And one of the things that we try to do is remove the risk from that by conducting diligence, and we charge separately for that. I think we charge 10,000 Thai baht, so that we really fly spec your qualifications and your documents. You can ask a friend maybe who has been through permanent residency successfully to look at your documents. But somebody with an experienced eye, we recommend having them do that. And the other thing that Mint and Roy can do is socialize your qualifications with the captain, so that we have a high degree of confidence by the time we're going in with your application that you're going to succeed. That being said, we had one client who, after we presented the initial tranche of documents, you have to do a second tranche after the close of the year when new tax records are available, and their company suddenly stopped cooperating with us. You need company documents and personal documents, and that put their application at risk. So it's really important that if you work for a company and we're going to require them to produce documents in support of your application, that you get their cooperation. The vast majority of the time, it's not an issue, but it's a good thing to front load with your CFO or your HR department just to make sure you're aligned. The final thing I'd say, in our experience, is by the time you get to the Thai language interview and you've made a good faith effort to learn the language, at least to be conversational, the folks in that room will be rooting for you, but you do have to make that good faith effort. So, Catherine, thank you for that question. Let me see here. I'm not sure I understand that question. Here's one from Connie. Hello, Connie. Can people that have been here on a non-F visa qualify for permanent residency?
For the non-F visa, I think it also depends on your case because sometimes non-F you can apply for the work permit, sometimes you don't, and sometimes you don't file tax in Thailand because you don't have income here. So basically, if you don't have the income here in Thailand, you cannot qualify for the PR.
Thank you. And one other thing. So generally speaking, there are two categories of visas, correct me if I'm wrong here, that you're much more certain to be approved, and that is non-B, and that's in the employment category, or non-O marriage, and you also have a work permit or your spouse is working.
I would like to add on this a little bit. So I have a client who hold a non-M visa. It's a visa for media, and she been employed under the some news company working here in Thailand, and that's one can qualify you with the PR as well.
Right. And I don't think currently, Roy or Mint, that the LTR visa, the 10-year visa, is a path to qualifying yet for PR. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. So, and as I think about LTR versus PR, if you've done like I did most of my career overseas and I have foreign sourced income, the LTR 10-year visa might be more interesting to you than PR because of the tax exemption available under that visa. However, if you spent most of your career working here in Thailand and you don't have a lot of foreign sourced income and want to protect your life here in Thailand, then PR would make a lot more sense to you. At least that's been our experience. Okay, great. Thank you, Connie. So Sydney B asked, what about the new visa for remote workers? There's actually a couple of visas that would include the LTR visa and now the new DTV visa. Also, is there a visa in Thailand for people recognized artistic skills? A little bit off topic, but we can answer that. Why not?
Okay. I think for the remote worker one, you're probably asking for the DTV. The DTV it is a new program endorsed by the Thai government last year, just to want people to spend their time here and participating in Thai culture. So in order to get that, there are many category like remote worker that you need to show your employment, that you are remote worker from the company abroad, or you need to show the evidence that you're participating in the Thai culture. And also, you need to be able to show that you have money in the bank account abroad of at least 500,000 baht equivalent, and you can get that.
But because you can't work in Thailand, you can work remotely from Thailand, but because you can't work in Thailand, that's not a pathway to permanent residency, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the other question is there an artistic category?
There is no special visa just for that. But if you have the artistic skill and you've been employed under the Thai company and have the non-B and the work permit, you can use that to work your way to the PR eligible.
Excellent. And Eve asks, if I understand correctly, a work permit is a prerequisite, even if based on a marriage. Is that correct?
Can you?
So I think, Eve, what Roy answered before was, in most circumstances, you're going to have to show that you're earning 30,000 Thai baht or more if you're applying under the family category. However, if your spouse is working and he or she is making 30,000 Thai baht or more, you would not have to have a work permit at that point. Is that correct?
Because the one who works is now your spouse.
Great. Which hospitals in Thailand, and I'm sorry, which hospitals in Bangkok can be used for the health certification?
So usually I recommend everyone go to the police hospital or Rama hospital. They're familiar with this kind of service.
And where is that located?
For the police hospital, I think it's located near Chulalongkorn University, and Rama hospital is located on the Param Hok Road, Rama Sik Road.
Okay. So let's go to the next one. Hayun Kuyu. Let's call it Kunjang. Sorry, my close reading is a little tough here. But Kunjang asks a good question. Do we have any information on when the 2023 application class will get approved?
Okay. For this one, I cannot commit to any timeline yet, but I expect that it should be you should get your approval by the end of this year.
And I would just say, speculating, that the 2024 or 2022 class got their approval in December of 2024 because the window never opened and immigration had the capacity to finalize those. So we're speculating here a bit, but we think it'll be either before the window opens in the fall of this year or after, because during that 2-month open window period, the immigration officers are just insanely busy. So we will keep a close eye on it. The second question is, if approved, do I get a call from immigration? Yeah.
Okay, I can take this one.
Yeah, please.
Usually, I think you probably not get a call, but you will get a notice letter. It will send to your registered address when you apply for the PR application.
Great. Kun Timo asked an excellent question. I think we answered the first one, but the follow-up questions are great. What kind of proof is used for salary? And is it only base salary, or is all your remuneration counted in that 80 to 100,000 baht?
Okay, it can be a salary combined with the what do you call it, remuneration across the month,
Bonus, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. But it should be at least a month, 30,000 or 80,000, depend on the category that you apply. And for this one, you will need 2 documents to prove this. The first one is the confirmation letter from your employer, and another one is your tax return form.
Yeah. So the revenue department and obtaining documents from the revenue department is incredibly important. Can we scroll back up again, please? Thank you. We're going to go to Kun Raymond Balsara's question. Is there a quota per country for the PR?
Yeah, it still is. I think right now the number is still the same, 100 person per country.
So, and I would say, as a practical matter, for any country other than for folks holding an Indian or Chinese passport, this has never been an issue year to year. So I wouldn't really worry about it unless you're holding an Indian passport. And then what I would try to do is get down to immigration, talk to the captain, and see if you can't get slotted in under the quota. But it may take you a little bit longer under that quota system. That's a great question. Kunkani asks, can people born in Thailand to diplomats qualify?
I think you probably ask from the non-F visa follow-up question.
Okay.
But this one, if you want to apply, you need to asset your qualification based on yourself. So in order to extend your PR, you need to obtain the PR first. So if your diplomat parent can have a PR, but I think that it's too difficult to get diplomat for the PR. So yeah.
Okay, great. All right, and I think we're back in action here. Some people commented that we lost you for a bit, but thanks for your patience. So Greg W. asks, I had a business visa for the past 4 years. I got married a year ago and switched to a marriage visa, marriage visa. Does this mean I now have to wait another 5 years to apply for PR, and that my time on the business visa will not be counted?
I believe if you change visa type, it means that your start, the waiting time will be reset again. So I'm sorry, you probably need to hold it for another 3 years.
Yeah, it's not 5 years, it'll be 3 years. But this is a great point, because people do change visas, or they change jobs and they're moving their work permit onto a new company. If that's the case, try to work with somebody who can do that change in your work permit and your non-B visa seamlessly. It's possible to do it without any breaks. It just takes a bit more work. And then, to the extent you are going to change your category visa, that will start your tenure over again. Okay. I think we have sound now, Scott. We're doing okay. We're still getting some comments in that regard. We're good. Okay. We've answered that question before. Let's go down a little bit further. To a third space, the employment route. What if my company doesn't want to share the documents? That's a great question. And companies do need to share revenue information and compliance with labor code information.
For this one, no. For the PR document, we really need the cooperation from your employer, because we need to disclose this information to the immigration. So if your employer does not cooperate, it will be difficult to pursue the PR application.
And we've had this come up from time to time. So we offer a non-disclosure agreement, a one-way non-disclosure agreement that says any information you allow us to collect will be kept strictly confidential and only used for the purpose of providing immigration with this information and for no other purpose. If you also think about this and want to explain this to your company, you're really taking immigration from somebody like the Department of Revenue and the Department of Labor and moving it to another government agency. And the final thing is, if the company is nervous about having a third party collect that information and then send it over to immigration, they can collect it themselves and send it over. The only downside to that is if we get to see the information first and Roy and Mint can review it, we make sure it's all in order before it goes to immigration and nothing needs to be explained to the officer. But that's a great question. So if you're serious about permanent residency, talk to HR, talk to the directors in your company, and make sure they're on board with you to cooperate with you, because that's going to be necessary. Okay, so Mehmet asks, those who are retired, should they bring a paper from the embassy or bank to prove the salary?
Again, if you're retired, I think the only option that you can apply is for under the family category. And this one, your wife need to be working in Thailand and pay tax and all of that. So the document that you said is not relevant to apply under this category.
It really is. Thailand is saying if you're making an economic contribution when you apply, that's great. And if you're no longer employed, unless you're married to a Thai national who is employed, permanent residency won't be available. Okay, so the next question, KBLN asks, in order to get the certificate of good conduct, do I really need to get it from my home country?
Yes, this one is really tough. Yes, the easy answer is yes. So for the certificate of good conduct or police clearance or whatever is named in your country, you need to go back in your country and check with the authority there on how to obtain it.
And by the way, if you work with us or another professional, or if you do this on your own, just make sure you understand the process by which your country will provide that to you. For example, in Germany, they will send it by snail mail. So if you try to mail that to Thailand, and we've had this happen, it can get delayed or lost or can get kind of crunched up and destroyed. So it's better, if you're from Germany, for example, to have a family member or a friend, have it mailed to them and then send it via DHL or courier. In the United States, if you have to get it from the FBI, you then have to go to the State Department for certification, then to the Royal Thai Embassy. The State Department is backed up, lead times are actually getting longer, and that can be a 2 to 3 month process. So again, the earlier you get started on this, the better. And so you can start to front load some of those processes and not miss the window. Okay, so Ruben, good follow-on question. How exactly do you do that from America? By the way, one thing I want to mention is that in a recent meeting that we've had with some senior officials from MOFA, they did mention that Thailand may become a signatory to the Hague Convention, which means that you can get an apostille, which will be a lot simpler way to get documents certified from overseas. But until that happens, with America, you have to get it from the agency, in this case, the FBI. It's got to go to the State Department. It's got to be certified by the State Department. Then it has to go to the Royal Thai Embassy. The Royal Thai Embassy has to put their certification on it. Then it comes into Thailand. So it's a bit of a process. The good news is, though, to see if you've got a clean record, the FBI has at least historically done this very quickly electronically. Okay. And again, will need a fingerprint card, but fingerprints can be obtained where here?
For the fingerprint.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But this one is, I think, for the FBI process. Do you know about this one?
Yeah. So if you do need fingerprints here, you can go to the Royal Thai Police, and I'm pointing over to Sukhumvit. You don't know that, but that's where I'm pointing to. And the Royal Thai Police can do your fingerprinting for you. Okay. House registration book. Oh, okay. So Kuntimo, you want to know, how does it work to get your blue Tabian bond or your house registration book, Roy?
Oh, okay. So as a foreigner living in Thailand, you can own a condo and you can register in the house Tabian Ban, but only for the yellow book. In order to register in the blue book, you need to get the PR certificate first. After that, you will be considered as a Thai permanent resident here. And then you can contact the local office to register yourself in the house Tabian Ban blue book.
So that would be the AMPA or the district office in which your residence is located. And it's a pretty simple process at that point.
That's right.
And by the way, that blue book, is important here in Thailand. I think land has an intrinsic value here in being part of a residence. And so any kind of business you want to conduct here, whether it's borrowing money or buying a car, that blue book really, I think, is quite valuable.
Right. And if you ask about obtaining the yellow book, yes, you need the consent from the landlord to do that.
Yes. And I have a yellow book, and it's a nice to have, quite frankly. Okay, so Kun Peter asks, does rental income also count on top of salary?
The clear answer is no. They will consider only the salary that you make in the company.
And that's a very good question that also raises another risk. So let's say you work for company A and you're earning your salary, your work permits, and all is well with the world. And then company B says, hey, can you do a little consulting for me? And I'll pay you 30,000, 50,000 Thai baht, whatever it is. And you're a good person and you decide to report that to the revenue department, but company B isn't listed in your work permit, that can disqualify you from getting permanent residency. So just know that the salary that you're reporting has to tick and tie to your work permit, and that all has to be a 3-year tenure without a break. Is that fair? Okay,
that's right.
Good. I got that right. Good. And you're welcome, Kun Raymond. Let me go down here. Don't worry, sorry, it's me again. My address has changed. This is a good question. So don't apologize, please. My address has changed since I applied. Will this affect my application?
I think it's not going to affect on about your timeline, but I think it's a good idea to contact the immigration and update the information now.
Great. Is there a maximum age limit? Great question. For applying for PR?
Apparently no. As long as you can show your qualification, you can apply.
And what I would say is, like your Thai skills, your education level, your age will also be adjudged in a range. It won't be disqualifying, but kind of the sweet spot is middle-aged, and older guys like me, I'll probably get a little less credit for that, but that's okay. It will not prevent you from getting PR if you're otherwise qualified. John asked a question about being HIV positive and getting insurance. Look, there's no insurance requirement for PR, right? However, you can buy policies that exclude pre-existing conditions. I would advise you to talk to Kun Darren at seektoinsure.com. You can find him on our website. He's a really experienced guy. He works with all the insurers in the country, and he will be able to advise you on that at Seek to Insure. Okay. Kun Ruben asks, how exactly do you certify an educational certificate for an American citizen? Should you certify the diploma or the transcripts as well? So I think in this case, a transcript that's certified from your university will be just fine. and that will count if it's the final certification and kind of the official document that shows you graduated at the highest level of your education. And is certifying only your highest degree enough? That is enough. And in fact, the higher degree, the more credit you'll get in the view of the immigration officers. So if you have a BA and a master's and a PhD, just go for the PhD. Okay?
Right.
This is a great question down below, again by Kun KBLN. I'm sorry I don't have your name. But does the certificate of good conduct, or what I would call your police clearance, expire? In other words, does it have to be relatively contemporaneous with your application?
This one, yes. In order to use this good conduct, it needs to be issued not longer than 3 months.
Okay, so 90 days. So again, this is a pretty tight time window and requires coordination with your home government and with your person helping you prepare, and then with basically managing the expectations with the captain if it's coming in a little later, to make sure that he or she knows it's coming in.
Yeah. And also it needs to be prepared in Thai translation and get it notarized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand.
And I appreciate that there were connections issues earlier. The answer is it's gross income. So the 80 to 100,000 is gross, not net of taxes. So if you're being paid 80,000 gross a year, but you're paying tax on that, that'll qualify. You'll be fine.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's go to I think we got some email questions. Is that correct? So we can answer a few of those. And by the way, if you have any other questions, this is a great question. Connie, thank you. Do people that hold Thai PR need to do 90-day reporting?
Oh, no, because you basically have the Thai permanent resident here. You don't have to do the 90-day report no more.
Yeah, so there's only 2 ways to truly immigrate to the kingdom, PR and citizenship. And once you've truly immigrated, you don't have to, there's no interest in keeping track of your residency. There's no need to extend or renew anything. However, a word of caution, to Roy's earlier point, you do need your reentry permits. So don't forget when you go to Suvarnabhumi to buy that. And the second thing is, unlike the United States where you get permanent residency and you have to maintain an intention of being a permanent resident by living there at least 6 months out of the year, in Thailand to maintain it, it's 1 day in any calendar year.
That's right.
However, and you think, well, it's just 1 day. What could possibly go wrong? COVID. And some people got locked out of the country and they asked for waivers. And I think they did actually get them because they couldn't come back to the country. But you need to be here at least 1 day during the year. Okay, Ruben asked, for an October-November 2025, when would you recommend starting the police clearance process to be within the 3-month window?
I think let's think that the visa, the PR will start at the normal window. So we usually know at the middle of the year, around August. So I think it's probably a good time to start your documenting around that. But since it's only valid for 3 months, you probably need to manage every document and make sure that you can submit everything while these documents still be able to submit to the immigration.
I think that's a great answer. I think anywhere from the end of July to the end of August, if you start that process. And again, each country will differ. So if you have a snail mail country or you need to get multiple certifications, that'll take some period of time because the government entity is backed up. Just put that into your thinking. There have been occasions where the captain has given us certain dispensation if it's going to come in a little late. But you need to prove to them that you've been trying in good faith and provide the documentation for that. Okay? And KBLN 28, you're very welcome. Thank you for that feedback.
Thank you.
All right. So, and we'll toggle back and forth, but let's go to the email questions. One of them, and I love this question, what are the biggest benefits of obtaining PR compared to, something like the LTR, just keeping your non-B, which your HR department gets for you every year?
All right. I think you already mentioned that. But for the PR, if you can get it, it means that you can stay in Thailand without any tie to condition So you don't have to apply for any visa no more. So I think it's suitable for the people that who want to stay here like forever. But when compared to the LTR, I think it's aimed to attract people, wealthy people to stay in Thailand, and it offers 5 + 5 years time of stay and also some tax benefit. Like 70% personal income tax rate if you apply under the wealthy professional category, and also for your foreign income will be tax exempt here in Thailand. And for the non-B, it's like a starter visa, but you probably need to have it in order to work in Thailand. But when you get a non-B, it also the starting point that you can work toward the PR if you aim for that.
And I think about this as any visa means you're here as a guest of the country and it's conditional. So for the non-B, it's conditioned on your continued employment. And the strange thing is you could be working here for years and build a life and have a condo and all of that. And then you lose your non-B because the company goes out of business, and you've got 7 days. That's all you have to kind of figure out an alternative. Or you've been working for many years and you maybe want to start a business or take 6 months and take a sabbatical. Once you have PR, it gives you the luxury of time and choice, and it removes a lot of leverage from, having to be employed and having to work for a particular company. So for some people, that's, incredibly valuable, particularly to Roy's point, if Thailand's your home forever, at least for the foreseeable future. This really de-risks your having that circumstance where you got 7 days to figure out your future. This is a very good question. So Connie again asked, is it for life or do you have to renew PR ever?
It is for life, but there is a certain way that you can lose it.
Right.
Right.
So as long as you get your reentry permits, you're here at least 1 day a year, you don't commit any crimes, you have it for life. Does PR, again, I'm going to butcher this, so I'm not going to try it. I apologize. But does PR allow me to vote?
Sorry, no. So in order to vote, you need to be a Thai citizen. So you probably need to obtain it before you can vote.
And the other thing is, does PR give you the right to buy land?
The answer is still no. You need to be a Thai citizen in order to do that.
Okay. So, and again, just to calibrate with you all, if you're a permanent resident of the United States, you can't vote, you don't get a US passport, but you have the right to work and live and travel freely in and out of the United States. So I would say that in most countries, the PR paradigm is very similar to Thailand. I think we have a time for 1 or 2 more questions, and I really, again, appreciate everybody hanging with us here. So Kun Wawa, can PR holders go to public hospitals and pay local fees only?
I'm sorry, I don't quite get this question.
So the question is, if you're a PR person and you're paying into the Social Security system, you've been working, can you go to a public hospital and be treated like a Thai person?
I think it's different from right. So if you send your social, you contribute for the social security every month, you already be able to utilize the right regardless of PR status.
Right. So if you're working here, you're contributing to Social Security, you're paying into the system, you have every bit as right to go to a public hospital, right, regardless of your visa or immigration status. Okay, let's go one more question here to JY Travel Ventures. Hello. I'm a 56-year-old firefighter paramedic. Thank you for your service and being a first responder. And retiring in 1 month. I have income over 80K, which is the best visa for my situation. I'm going to answer that as an old guy. Sure. The good news is you have lots of opportunities. There's the non-O. If you qualify for the LTR with 80,000 in passive income, maybe Social Security and pension and whatnot, rental income, that's a great choice. If you have a Thai family, you can get a non-O dependent visa. But the good news is once you're over the age of 50, Thailand says, come on in, and you'll have the ability, you may have to extend every year, but you'll have the ability to work here for a long time. Okay, I didn't mean to misrepresent our intentions here, but Peter asked a very good question. Will a potential bonus be counted as salary?
I think yes, it can be count as a salary. I mean the total revenue that you get per month. But don't forget that you need to maintain the required salary each month. So 30,000 or 80,000 depending on your category.
Right. So I think that's a great point, Roy. Really, what immigration's looking at every month, 80 to 100,000. If you get a bonus at the end of the year, that's great for the month in which you receive it, but it won't make up for maybe if you were only making 40 or 50,000 prior to that. And again, the proof will be through the revenue department. So it's not only your employer certifying your salary, but it's actually what you reported to the Department of Revenue. Okay. Well, listen, I hope everybody enjoyed this. We're going to do more Ask the Lawyer segments as time goes by. By the way, if you have suggestions for topics, please let us know that. Don't forget that you can go onto our website and go to our resources section, download or print out the flashcards. They're free, and I think it'll be an excellent representation of what you might face in terms of your Thai language interview. So I want to thank Roy. I want to thank Mint. I want to thank everybody that participated today. And I want to thank our staff here, Copter and Champ, for making this all go so well. And until next time, see you. Thank you.
Thank you.